All right. If you put the stream on, man, hit the like button. Do your boy a favor. It's sad when I go to review them and they got no fingers up or down on them. Austin, this will take about 30 minutes, man. All right. So if you could do me a solid and then just pay attention, uh, that'd be great. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna go from scratch, hooking up a rig in Unity, and setting up the scripts to actually make it move. It's basically going over the homework, you know. Except the information that we're using, I posted the actual tutorial like, in Slack. Um, it's solid. Since it comes from Mixamo, I think it's the first time I've ever done an import on an animation and did generate the retargeting report and no errors. There's like no errors. Mixamo does a really good job. If you're not familiar with Mixamo, you can go to their site and check it out. I'm not. It's streaming. It's a streaming, so it's just it'll probably take a minute. Yeah, it's probably just uploading the other ones. When it just keep it open, and when it comes up, it comes up. So Dante, you have problems? You have problems setting your stuff up?
I have problems with the fighting one, not the regular one.
What kind of problems?
Because when I tried to do the fighting one, and then I added the movement script onto the fighting, it didn't work as I wanted it to.
Yeah.
Move the way I wanted it to.
Yeah. So if you wanted to set up just a regular animator inside of Unity, man, you just need animations. You need an animator controller. You drag and drop the animations onto the animator controller, and then you can write like some scripts for it. Okay. You just need to get a reference to the animator controller, and then you can send some string values to the actual animator, and it does stuff. But man, what about if you want to move, bruh?
I'm sorry.
No, man, think of like so. Whenever y'all are playing games like Assassin's Creed, man, I'll stand up because this is annoying. So like when y'all are playing games like Assassin's Creed, or if you're playing any kind of third-person game, you ever think about how whenever you use the controller, how that dude moves?
You have to say animation over it's like the actual original body.
But no, yeah, okay. But what if there was no animation? Have any of you tried mapping controller input to moving a thing around in the screen, like in the game? Ben? Okay. Yeah, no animation. Like, how do you move him around? Like, y'all did boys. Y'all know how to move things around, right? Yeah, you use some vectors and stuff like that. But if we're playing an RTS game and we're looking down like this, and like it's all up there, and I'm using a controller and I press up, what's the expected behavior at that point, man? I got a dude sitting on a table like this, and I'm looking right down at him. I press up on the controller like this. Huh? Yeah, in an RTS. So let's just assume like we don't got that. Yeah, so we're trying to control a cube in the game, and then when we press up, like what's the expected behavior if you just got a guy sitting? He's gonna go up?
You can go through the plane.
We go through the plane. Could do a couple of things, right?
Depends on what you want.
Well,
If you're looking at it face down, then you would go up.
yeah, he could do anything, right?
Yeah.
It's really a matter of like how we define it, in which if you pin if you so okay with that convoluted example, how about if we pin a camera, just parent it to a dude right behind him, Gears of War style, and you press up like that, and you right behind him, he's gonna forward, right? Yeah. No. So you can say forward. What is forward in that space, man? Like that forward is something relative to the camera. Since we parent it to him, like, you know, it's going to, he's going to just say, oh yeah, transform.forward, add to that based off of the y-axis being positive. Because when you press up on the controller, you get, positive y. Obviously, you move forward because you're holding the controller like this. But you can't just parent the camera to the player. That's stupid, okay? All right, this is recorded. I mean, that's just not feasible, man. Like, a camera would usually like sit somewhere in the world space and then uh, adjust itself to be behind the player.
Not be a part of.
He should follow the player. So in games like The Witcher, whenever he's like, you press up and he's doing things, and he sees a monster and then he hits it, and then he kills the monster, and then some animation plays where everything just stops and then the camera goes boom. It does all of this stuff, right? You obviously know that's not part of Geralt's rig, man. The point that I'm trying to make is like, you have to get a vector that's uh, basically in relation to your up, because you're up and the camera's up, same thing, okay? But you're gonna need to get the cross product of the camera's right and your up to get the forward vector. And then whenever you have that forward vector, that's the direction that we want to go in. Does it seem like a whole bunch? Yeah, it does. Okay, whenever you're trying to set up character controllers, you run into these kind of issues whenever you just got a cube that's running around. Okay, but what if we could just couple it all together? All right, this was the discussion that we had this morning about setting up an animator controller that basically allowed you to just feed values into it, and then the animator itself would drive it. Okay, so this is what we're going to call like rigid. Go ahead, man. It's only on the internet. Okay. So as I said before, so we don't really get to have much fun when it comes to character controllers in the Logo project, and I can share that. In the last meeting that I had, I could start to share with y'all some of the limitations that we're having using velocity-based movement. Okay, one of those things is like we're deriving some vector to send to the animator controller, and then the animator controller is going to respond. But if you look at the way Ethan's set up, and even more simple with the way that this thing is set up, uh, it's a lot more simple, okay? And it allows you to like not write a whole bunch of code. That does a whole lot. It'll give you a bit of an insight as to how nav mesh agents can look a lot better too. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and get started. This will last about 20 minutes. Okay, so the first thing that we'll do is you'll get a guy in the game. This beta.
I think you're in play mode.
What up?
I think you're in play mode.
All day. All day play mode. So we'll get this guy set up, and then you can actually just make a prefab, like a parent level game object, and then you can add all of the components onto it, like the animator controller, your control scripts, the rigid body scripts, the capsule collider, all that. And that's what we'll do is we'll set that up, and then we'll do the parenting of the camera to the player himself. So y'all are doing wonderful, by the way, paying attention. It's great. So the character controller is a component that allows you to interact with it, that handles a lot of things for you, like setting up, rigid body collisions and things like that. So you add the animator component. And then we don't have anything like like on this, but like on the actual parent level game object, and you don't need anything. The way that the animator works is it's gonna go into its children and find uh, the joint hierarchy. All right, in which like if we hit play, right, ain't nothing gonna happen. Okay. Uh, and if you hit the animator controller is doing work, but it's doing work on nothing. All right. Um, so what we'll do is we're gonna add the actual model here as a child of it, and then hit play, and then you'll see this rig is performing the animations that are in the animator controller itself. Y'all can see this is good. So look out, just standing there, getting it. And if you want to make her wave, we do that. Nice. So no wave. What's up? Yeah. So she's not waving, and I'm gonna tell you why in a little bit because we're gonna do another thing. It's called we're gonna set up a avatar mask that'll allow you to like play an animation. Um, that has nothing to do with the rest. It's also a good way to like fix a whole bunch of janky things, unless it's the unless it's that janky model that I'm getting. Okay,
So I'm trying to figure out exactly why just dragging her onto that did anything at all.
what this?
Yeah, you just drug her in there and it worked.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying is like the animator is gonna sit there and it's gonna do work. Like
Oh,
it gets set up like whenever you hit play in the model behavior lifecycle, like the animators are gonna initialize and then fire their initial state. Okay. Whenever they're in their initial state, in which this state is just empty, okay, it has no motion related to it in this layer, excuse me. Whenever you go to the base layer, like this idle walking blend has references to the idle animation and the walking animation, in which those animations are keyframing the avatar's position over time. Whoever set that up, okay? Does that make sense?
so that the animator controller is a part of the game object you attached her to.
Dude, yes. If there's man, that's a key point to remember. Is like you can put an animator controller on anything, and then you can put as many states as you want in it. It's really just like true to the component architecture because like it's just gonna be on a game object, and it's gonna do things to the children that are inside of it, that to the children of it. Okay.
Okay.
So we're gonna script some behavior. We're gonna get to the controller example here. So the first thing we'll do, save that out. We'll add a script. Holy scripts. Oh, sorry. So this really complex script that I wrote does this. Yeah. Um, so the first thing that you need to do, man, is you're gonna need to get a reference to the animator. Whenever it starts to drag on, I got all of it already done. So I just don't want anything to get lost in translation. Uh, so how we go about getting input, man? So we wanna get some X position, Y position, like whenever you're gonna use the controller, like you need to do to go places. So the first thing you do is come up with the y'all are familiar with the input manager?
Not that one.
Yeah, so the reason that I use the cross-platform input manager is it handles mobile input. You don't have to use it, but so the thing that I looked at a lot this weekend, man, is this, like the mapping for the Xbox controller. Like you got to know which inputs that you need. So fortunately, I think horizontal and vertical is just set up already. Let me make sure that I'm just going to use exactly what they used in their script. So I want to go digging up in that.
Bring the camera down a little more.
Holy goodness. Wow, there's a lot of inconsistencies in this script that they wrote, but rolling with it. So the first thing that they do is this. I've never seen somebody do it this way, man. So doing it this way, actually, like you don't even need to pull input before you're going to, move the guy. Simply because this animator is solely moving with root motion. Okay, so we have the script right here, and then we'll go ahead and run it. Jesus. Y'all good with this setup for the animator? Do I need to go over that? No? Okay. All right. So I'm pressing right on the stick, and then it's feeding in these values right here. I think I typed something wrong. Okay, yeah. Nice. Yeah, so, all right. When we hit play, what this is gonna do is, yeah, like yeah, it's gonna do some stuff here. Yeah, I probably should have set the animator up like with not so much stuff in it. Yeah, I'm in the I'm on the internet. What's up? I strive for awkwardness. Okay, so this is me. Um, this is me pressing right on the stick. Or move later. Right and left on the stick. Okay. So when I press right, you're gonna see the horizontal speed goes -1 because I mean the input axis on the left stick goes -1 is on the left, +1 is all the way to the right.
Can you tilt this stick a little, make it more?
What, like Jerry Bruckheimer? You like that? Give money. Well, she walking like she about to go get something, get money later. So I do have to kind of go over exactly what's going on, man. Whenever you look at these states, okay, you're creating a blend tree within the state itself. All right, this blend tree is going to blend between the idle animation and the walking animation. Okay, so if you try to use the third person character controller setup that Unity gives you, you're not gonna have much success, man. That thing is super complicated. Okay, there's just a lot going on with it. They do everything through script. Um, they have a lot of like on animator move calls. What this does is it allows you to just say, you know what, I'm gonna get an animation that actually, you know, moves or translates in world space. And then whenever you feed those values into the animator, it's just gonna do those things. Win-win situation, right? Well, it's not always the case because guess what? If you get an animation from somebody that was done in, say, armadillos per second or centimeters per second, or their units of measurement don't match to unities, you're gonna have a problem. Okay, Miximo's real good about it because they do everything should be in meters per second. It's not America.
Can you go to the base layer right quick?
What up?
Go to the base layer. I don't necessarily know how to use like the changing of animations except for blend trees. Like how you get it to go from the middle idle to the left blend tree and the right blend tree. Like I'm not exactly sure how to call those conditions.
Okay. Yeah, sure, dude. So I'm gonna make a copy of this before I ruin it. It's not hard to set up, man. And I appreciate your questions. If only everybody. I'm gonna get the space. Get the space. Man, it doesn't tell you what animator. Oh, Rory controller, sweet. So this is probably something like what you got going on, right? So now whenever I'm pressing like the H value, hopefully y'all can see that. Is it out of focus? Just getting older. Okay. So I'm pressing up, V speed goes 1. Pressing down, V speed is -1. Nothing happens. Yeah, nothing's gonna happen because I mean the only things that we have set up in here are there we go. That's what I wanted. There's this little guy right here. That's okay. He's not getting covered or anything. Yeah, and if you hit this, you can see like this is all he's gonna do. And so the question yeah was like, what about strafe and left and strafe and right, man? So when do I want to strafe right? So we have just this idle to walking, blend set up. When do I want to go to the right? Yeah, when you tap right on the stick. So whenever this value, the horizontal speed, is positive. All right, so yeah, that's what's up. So what we'll do is we'll just add, we'll add one state right here. So you can just drag animations in here. Okay, so now we have this. And then you make a transition from the idle place where you were to this guy. And then whenever you click on the actual transition, I really need that disk. And then we'll do just what Guy said, man. Like the condition to go here is gonna be whenever horizontal speed. We're gonna do greater than 0.1, man. All right, and then we'll run that. So we're in an idle walk and blend. We walk it forward, hit that right, boom, booking it. Hey, look, no hands, bruh. Like she's just gonna get it. That's just how she does, man. It's gonna sit in that state. So there's two things to notice. Obviously, she's going somewhere, all right, because it's applying the root motion inside the animation. The other thing was like, when did the animation fire? Okay, so if you look at A speed, and I hit right, it's 1 right now. That number's greater than 0 or greater than 0.1. Nothing happens. What happens is it's going to wait until that state is finished before it does that transition. So why is that useful, man? That's so that
It lets you finish animations that are more
yes, it won't interrupt them. It's basically a way to block input inside of the animator controller. So say like you're running and then a dude, does some combination of buttons and he's like, I'm gonna slide. Well, man, usually whenever you're playing a video game and then you hit the slide out on somebody, you're probably doing some kind of compensation in real life that's going like, "Rah, rah, yeah." You do all you like you're feeding all kind of input to the finite state machine. So while he's in the slide animation, it doesn't care about what inputs it gets. It's going to make sure that that animation finishes. And then when you're in that state, it'll probably just transition right back to where it was. And if the slide animation has root, translation in it, that's pretty solid. Okay. It's super difficult the way that I'm trying to do it. I have like this Unity chain slide animation and then it's not going too well. All right. It's basically just her running in place and then dropping her ass on the ground and just sliding in place, you know. In which I have to like get all kind of values like what is your current velocity, move her this much, and all that. It's just a mess. So once again, I mean, this is a great
behind
demo of like why you would want some kind of root transform motion. What's up?
If you want an animation to completely stop, like if you're in the middle of a run animation, someone hits you, your lower health will automatically just stop, go into dead state. You make sure you check the hazard the counter.
Yep, that's what I was about to go to. So yeah, the death one is a great one. But what about like whenever you're playing fighting games, man? There's a whole bunch of like
there's a lot of animations.
moving. So like, how annoying would it be if you were some fat dude that every time he moved a step, he would go, "Bleh," and then you're slamming the punch button, but he needs to finish, you know. But I mean, you can come up with some cool like if you just kill that exit time on it, he's like moving, and he's like he'll just jab immediately, you know. So I mean, there's a lot that comes with the animator controller. You could feed input into these things and basically derive your own combo chains with the animator controller, just setting it up properly. Like you don't gotta go into complicated code about he hit and did he hit like I'm gonna weight this much and did he press a down right to shoot a fireball out his hands and all of that. You could just set all of that behavior up inside the finite state machine, gets you out of code and into doing more important things like managing your data. All right, so to fix this, man, we need to make sure that like as soon as we want to move over, we're gonna uncheck the has exit time, and then maybe provide a way for Bay to get back. All right, so she's right strafing out. We know that whenever we hit this state, what like preconditions for entering this state are what?
It's gotta be greater than 0.1.
It's got to be greater than 0.1. So leaving the state would have to be inclusive of that. So we'll just leave the state whenever it becomes less than 0.1. All right. And then we'll do the same thing. So we'll add the transition for here. So H speed less than 0.1. And then we run that. So this me running forward. This me pressing right immediately. I'm still holding right. I'm gonna let go of right. Rip. And then now she's back. So it's like you got the beginnings of a, you know, The Witcher. All right, so just as a quick one, what I'll do is set this up to just, I'll put the left strafe here and then do the same thing, make these transitions. One of the things that bug me about Unity's animator is like, is this right here. I'm gonna just put in this video in the event that like anyone important watches this thing. Animator window zoom. You have given this idea 5 votes out of my 10. It got half my votes, man. You cannot zoom in the animator window. It is the most annoying thing, unless you're like Dylan and you have like 9 monitors. The matrix over there.
I keep clicking and dragging like inside of the animator window. When I left click or right click and try to move it, it won't go anywhere.
You put a mouse wheel.
Oh, to pan it?
Yeah.
To pan it, I think you
It's
can.
the funniest thing.
Yeah, it's like middle mouse, so you can hold. You can hold Alt. Alt and left click, right click does nothing. Yeah, this just does a select. Another pro tip is like you can copy all of this, hit Control C, all right. Open another animator, Control V it. You know, that's extremely useful too. I think that there's like they added the copy current state machine. Yeah, you can do that as well. Okay, so now we have the left strafe and transitions to go to them. So we go left whenever your V is going to be less, horizontal is going to be less than 1.1. And then we'll come right back. We'll take this off.
That's you did the opposite. Move greater than enough to go to the state, yeah. And then come back and left.
Well, nah, man, look.
You have them in different.
Nah,
like,
look.
Going to that state.
Your heart's.
You just changed it. No. Put it back. You changed it. You did it. You fixed it. The first time.
No, y'all wrong. I don't want to go to a left strafe though when my horizontal speed's greater.
Oh, I'm drunk.
I'm going left.
Right.
I'm going left, bro. We just added a whole nother feature, man. In my game, you could go straight, right, and left.
I forgot that ends up being
that boy.
But that needs to be negative.
Nice. Got him. Rip. There we go, man. Like it's a group effort. It's not Matthew. It's not the teacher's man. It's a group effort. So, and then we're gonna provide the opposite of the precondition to get here, in which that would be if it's the HP is gonna be greater than the negative 0.1. All right, and remove the exit times, and run that. Hey, get it. Go right. Yeah, that's still working. All right. Go left. Oh, get him. Get what? So that's a good point. You said juke him, right?
Yeah, that's a little nasty.
So whenever we worked on that game with the legs and arms, man, we ran into some problems with the sprites and animating them. Basically trying to do all our 3D workflow inside of this 2D using the animator controllers, man. You can set this thing up, right, to have a little bit more speed to it. So the duration of the transition, like that's the time as well. So we're gonna set that transition duration to 0.
Yeah.
Oh, I was about to get real. Rip.
But if you break the ankle,
I think if you just uncheck fixed duration too, that might do something.
That makes it percent base.
Okay. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. What the juke on? The juke. Son. Getting him. Get it. Wanna go forward? Yes. They just walk. They just walk like that dude on For Honor. He's like, Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah, when he just walks away. If anyone can ever get that animation of the guy going, bruh, I'm all about that life. That was definitely set up with animation events. Right when he hits the peak of the, Alright, okay, it was a miss. But it's filmed it. Okay, so the next thing that we'll do is set up some other kind of behavior that has nothing to do with moving. Right, so now we're like driving values from input axis. So that's moving around, but like what if you want to get, like you want to kneel, you know? Or you want to like gang them out. You know, you want to dance or something. Okay. What we can do is, I mean, we'll add one of those in. So what you want to gang now? Yeah, we'll gang now. And this condition will be one that we make. Call it gang now. Gang now. All right. And then we're going to go into the script, and then we'll just set a trigger whenever we press you have the controller mapping, Dylan? We'll just do input.fire or input. Yeah, we'll do input.fire. Oh my God, this dude getting away. So yeah, man, we were able to like accomplish a lot of movement in the hopes that we get good animations out. So it's fire one. Let me see what they got their stuff set up to. Joystick button 0. Well, we'll press all of them. So this is A. That ain't it. That B. Nope. That Y. That X. Oh goodness, that was one of them. What was it?
Zero should be X, or the bottom one.
0's X. Okay. So I'll pull up the animator. I'll get focus on the screen. Oh no, it fired. The transition duration has a good time its own. So boom. What? I think it's actually getting focus from the me clicking. So X didn't do it. Oh yeah, it's A. So we press A, and that's gonna shoot out the fire one, and then chick's gonna start running around. But what the problem would have been? Yeah, you suck. But
Fire one is also the left mouse button.
yeah, that's what I was saying. Whenever I tried to go grab focus, it would get it. So there we go. So basically, if I hit this button and go out to gang now, like I'm stuck. I can't get out of this gang now. Like she got to finish, you know. Because the default transition right here, you don't have to put conditions, man. What it'll do is it'll wait until that animation's done in that state, and then transition to wherever it says it's gonna go to. Okay.
Yeah, if you put the as exit time.
Yeah, but if you said it has, if you do has exit time, don't put a condition. It's gonna yell at you, man. Because transitions need at least one condition or an exit time to be valid. Otherwise, it'll be ignored. Okay. So what you could do, you see this thing right here. This thing has a lot of use, man. Any state, you can basically just say, all right, I got a thing that I need to do, and I want to be able to do it from anywhere. All right. You can make a transition to this thing, and then you can set the, you know, not jumping, but you could put gang them out like that, and then delete these.
So at any point, even if you were running right, you could do it.
Yep. So now, as long as you doing anything, you gonna gang them out. What else?
Great power, great responsibility.
Definitely.
You can transition to yourself.
Yup. You can totally transition to yourself. So if you got some coroutine or some really cute code that you wrote that's like doing your state management and firing triggers out, that's a problem. Okay. Also, there's a problem with this state.
It don't stop.
Yeah, man, Puff Daddy can't stop, won't stop. So yeah, once again, man, in the spirit of I don't want to like share useless information. This exit button has a purpose as well. So now you'll do that. All right, let old girl do the Gangnam Style. And now whenever this is done, what it's gonna do is it's gonna exit. It's gonna exit this state, and then go back to the entry state, and then restart yourself all over. Okay. It don't get no more in depth than what we doing right here, man. So if you can't get it out of this video, enough for you. This is also the last tutorial that we're doing with Mecanim. All right. So let's see what other animations that we have. We got a jump. We got a wave, Gangnam Style. We got kneeling down, kneeling idle, and kneeling stand. Yeah, I'm gonna do them. So what I'm gonna do is create a empty state here, and I think that what they did was they called it like I want to set a substate though. Oh, there we go. Create a new substate machine. All right. So what's up? What that shape? Yeah. It's like a square, but with two triangles on the end of them. This is what I teach. All right, so let me look at the reference animator that they have just to make sure that I'm setting it up right. So what they did was they have a substate machine, and then they have the Gangnam, and then they just do a cycle out like this. And then it goes back out. Sweet. So this is a way to get organized. This is like I showed y'all some of those other animator controllers, man. Like they get out of hand. All right. If you know you're going to a state where you're punching or you're going to be like doing some kind of in place motion, you could probably just consolidate all of your states to be in that one place. So in which you'll see like the triple arrows means that this idle can go to multiple places inside of the action substate. In which you'll see like from this right here, the base layer, it can go from the base, which is the idle, to the dance, and then it can go to the kneeling down, and then yeah, that's it. I'm not sure why it has three of them. You can actually look and see which ones it's going. Oh, it's only going to two. All right. And just as a point of reference, man, solo and mute, these things right here allow you to block transitions for testing. Okay. That's pretty important too in the case of like you don't want to do locomotion, but you want to basically feed input to the finite state machine, like with some testing. you never need to go to locomotion. You could just keep feeding input and testing all of your animations that way. Okay. So, all right. What we'll do is we're just going to add those to that animator controller that we made. Where's the little girl at, man? Rory controller. All right. So the things that we want to do, we want to kneel down, we want to kneel idle, and then we want to kneel stand. What do those animations even do? All right. So as soon as we add the connection to the new substate machine inside of the animator, you're going to get the up base layer. And I think that the flow went like this. What do y'all want? Like, what would the behavior be for this, man? You would be kneeling idle. Oh, okay. Well, and then you would kneel down, and then you would stand up. Yeah. So let's see how that works. All right, and then what we'll do is we'll set some input for here. So that, and then the way that they're going about doing it, I wouldn't recommend doing it this way, man. But what they have is like this current action integer parameter that they're just using for state, uh, basically how to drive their state machines. Okay, um, which is okay, I guess, but I wouldn't go about that. But what we'll do is make a parameter here called kneel, and we'll just fire that trigger out, and then you can put it in the script. If the dudes at Mecanim were watching this video right now, they'd be like, man, you are murdering all that commented code. Uh, the script resources that I posted, they're done really well, man. Like, this is what they have. Like, they explain everything. Okay. And they also talk about doing the rotation, which we're not going to get into, I think, because we're taking too much time. So what? Yeah, that's us. Yeah, we definitely don't want jumping true. So Neil. God damn it. Get out of here, game now. Alright, so now she can run around left, right, sticking it. Alright. We hit A, that's Gangnam, does nothing. We hit B, that's going to do kneel. And then now you see she'll transition to kneeling idle. And now she'll transition to kneeling down. Then she'll come back up from standing. And then she'll go right back up into idle walking blend. Yeah. You saw how I let y'all set that up? I mean, in all of our defense, like, I had no way of just previewing that animation to be able to tell like exactly what it was supposed to be doing without actually going to the animation itself. So, I mean, if you wanted to see what the animation did, you can click it here and then look with your boy. So yeah, that's kneeling down and then kneeling idle. Yeah, you would kneel down, pause it idle, wait for some input, and then stand up. Like the real Slim Shady here. okay, and then that would go. Basically, that's the flow that you want. All right. The last part that we'll do is waving. So, like if someone gave you an animation and they just animated a dude waving, what's that animation look like? Is you okay? So your root position is sitting in a chair and then your arms moving. I mean, I know you're being lazy for one, but that's a great example. All right. But and the reason why it's a great example is because I got to roast Austin on the internet. The other one is like, what about if you running? Can dude wave? Yeah, man. You should be able to wave. Like if you so whenever an artist is gonna go animate out a wave, they're really just concerned with this. The whenever you wave, think about it. Like what are all the things that are moving? Okay, yeah. Your arm, right? What else?
Your head a little bit.
Your head, your chest. Definitely not this. Definitely not this. All right. So this is a right arm wave. There's a lot going on with that. Okay. But whenever an artist is going to animate that, they're not going to have like a half a person that they're going to animate. They're going to do it against, like, Drake from Uncharted. Like, they don't just be like, hey, man, I guess we're going to be animating waves today. I'm going to need half his rig. No, this is ridiculous.
So what if running animation at least both wave?
Yeah, it's going to do it. So, and then I'm going to show you because what happens is like, we're going to create a mask. All right. What the mask is going to do is take the transform information regarding our model and only apply this part of it. Okay. This is super useful for people that want to do facial animation. All right. Adam gave me a rig. Uh, make sure you document like what time this is, Dylan, because I definitely want to tell them about it. He gave me that Scotty rig, the little girl with the fuzzy hands, the big unproportional hands that don't map well to any other animation because people walk with their arms like this, you know. One of the things about her, dude, is that her rig in its default T-pose orientation does like this, Tom. Mouth wide open. So she's just walking around all relaxed. It's a game breaking, man. Like no one wants that. It's just creepy. Okay, so that was like the button situation this morning. I fought with that forever trying to come up with a way to fix it. And what I did was I basically just made my own animation that did just a head, and all I did was keyframe her mouth shut. So like this is what she was doing, and this is what I made it do. Animation called shut up anim. All right. And what I did was I put that animation on a layer, on a base, on another layer, and then just ran that that animation in sync with the other stuff going on. Okay. So if you're ever wondering how you can have these little intricacies, if you've watched Westworld, they talk about those mannerisms, the intricacies. The next time you go watch a game that has humanoids in it, man, look at what they're doing. They're doing a lot more than you think. They're not just nav mesh agenting around. They'll stop. They'll pick their hands up. Their fingers will move. They'll scratch. Like they'll do a lot of things. They'll twitch. They'll do a bunch of these different things that would just be miserable to make an animation for every single one of them. Okay, in the scope of Assassin's Creed, like there's fat women, tall women, fat men, children. Okay, like you're not gonna go animate that one rig for all of those cases, but they all kind of share a very common, structure. So you can go animate that one joint doing a thing, especially when it comes to fingers. All right, and then apply it to all these other guys by just having that mask on that specific character's animator, or however they're doing it in I think it's Dawn Engine or something. I'm not sure. All right, so I'll set that up for you guys, and then we'll call it a quit. So I'm just gonna set it up like this because this is how the demo's set up. and see if this works. If it doesn't, we'll retarget the animations. But the avatar. So this little guy right here, he has his head, his chest, and his arm. Okay, no IK. We don't do an IK on this layer at all. Okay, the transform information is empty for some reason, but it seems to work in the other demos, and I want to see if it does. Usually, you do have to designate exactly what skeletons you're targeting this for. And just as a refresher, what we're doing is we're taking this avatar. Remember? I remember this. We're taking this avatar right here, and we're gonna do some stuff to it. So look at here, getting it. All right. So whenever the animator animates, it's gonna do things to these values. Okay. These are the actual animator values that get mapped from the FBX information whenever it's keyframed in Maya. So with the wave animation is probably some kind of complex looking, doing something like this. These settings do stick, so be careful. In the case of like, if you want a dude to be bowed up like this, you can actually define ranges of motion on those muscle settings. All right. I know this specifically because Wolf Girl's hands were so big they would clip into her waist. All I did was bow her elbows out like this, and she was still able to maintain the female animation that I got off the asset store. So it was pretty neat. All right, so enough of that. Can dance all day. So we'll jump back up into Rory's animator control right here. What we'll do is we're going to add another layer. Okay. Oh, look, it's right here. So yeah, they already had it because we copied that information over. So a key thing to remember is like there's a reason why this has this empty state. If we don't put this empty state, this is what's gonna happen. So I'm gonna just delete this, and that's gonna be the default state. And then we hit play, and then like nothing's happening right now. All right. What we need to do is we need to set the influence of this layer. So yeah, man, she's just getting it. Look at her. Just gonna wave, and then wave again. So what I'll do is I'll just run around and we'll see what it looks like.
You just gonna keep doing it.
But look on arm. We should get the dead on.
You just gonna keep doing it the whole time.
I think so. It does, I mean, it's the default say. Oh, oh. What's up, y'all? Yeah, no. Oh, there we go.
No, it's so therapy.
Get it, girl. Go. Wave, man.
My arm's really numb, y'all. You gotta put it.
I'll just, so that I can accentuate this, I'm just going to just transition to myself. Hey, what up? What you doing, man? Good doing. I'm going to go this way? Over here? What, they hit that kneel. Wait, kneel. Where the base at? Oh, there she go. Oh,
Oh, look,
hey, oh. She hit it with the TO. Ah,
Look at him.
ain't that something? Did it with the salute, man. Yeah,
Dude, limbo.
just going at it. Yeah, so once we say, so we have this upper body mask here. And just as a disclaimer, once again, I don't know why we don't need to actually retarget the actual transforms for it. If you know, just please post it like in the comment or just mention it to me. So you're definitely going to need an empty state that is going to transition to this guy. Okay. And then the way, like, you're going to need to set a condition for it. So it's all the same setup. Yeah, we're going to throw that one on the gang now. And then we're just going to exit right back out.
Is the entry supposed to go to new state or wave?
Got him. Who's paying attention? 7,000 points to you, Rory.
Shit. I don't like they do.
Par -5. All right. So yeah, we set this, and it's completely okay to have a state in here, man, that has no motion in it. Okay.
Right now, well, RTS, I don't have idle animation, so they just do nothing.
Yep. And that's completely fine. Once again, the reason that you can do that is like there's no super strong coupling associated with the animator controller, and it's like it's related to the children underneath it. Okay. So like you can have an animator just for visual representation. See you over there, but and then have like just you can use this thing as basically like a visual finite state machine. Do I recommend it? Man, no, hell no. Like, you can write a tool for that as practice, but let me see if there's anything else. I think we got all of the animations in. All right, so as far as like homework goes, man, the next thing I want y'all to do is get this project going, follow the tutorial, and do it. Okay, at least until to the point that I got, and then look at using the rotation. Okay, like understanding rotation is a pretty big deal. Like, notice that whenever we had the character, actually, I'll just show you the actual final demo. Your boy gets no love, man. Let's bring the alpha male in here. Whoop. So we got alpha male. All right. So alpha male, take one. So he walks forward. All right. Now, whenever he look at it, look at it. So whenever he when he goes to the right, he leans to the right. So he plays like this blend that doesn't just make him go. What they call them things? Who play football? Anybody? No, this man. Look, they make you do this. No, nobody. All right, well, they were worth the shot, man. Look, the side straddles. You know, like he don't just sprint off to the left. You know, so you can like he's gonna blend into that animation. And let me go up a layer here. So you have this idle walking blend, and then you have a left turn and then a right turn. All right, these values are driven by the fact that you're turning right and turning left. Okay, so if turning right is true, then you're gonna turn right. Then yeah. Wait, what? No. This is the turn right. There it is. So we're just gonna cut that. Yeah, so this is actually that was still the same behavior. I don't know why. Like, man, he just has a better character model. But yeah, if I want to like book it and then turn, so like you can't go to that transition though. You know that, right? Like I'll expand it out. Like if you look at it, your left turn can only happen from that idle, so you have to go back to the idle state before you're gonna even make it there. So it's like
Unity John, she actually kind of like leans with.
yeah. So okay, the reason that I do like this implementation for learning purposes, man, is that whenever you get an animator machine, when you press play and it does a whole bunch, okay, it's cool. And then when you open it up, there's only like 4 or 5 states in it. That's bad. All right, it's bad from like a non-professional point of view because all of their animations, like they still have to play all those animations, so they're being driven by these values that are a little hard to keep up with. All right, if you look at the third-person animator controller, the grounded state has 12 animations. Okay, which they hold the idle turn, idle quick turn for both directions, walk, walk sharp turn, walk turn for both directions, and also the run, and those as well.
But I mean, to be fair, that's the most realistic as far as.
And whenever we get to connect, we're gonna record people walking, and then we're gonna go through the entire cycle of like these are the animations required to make a character controller for you. Because I mean that's my end goal for whenever we complete this module, we make character rigs that are you guys, and then you can go do whatever with it. All right.
Okay,
So that's
my scoliosis walk in there.
Yeah, like that's not. This is a good thing we don't want the ones that watch this. All right. So yeah, so they do this, and then if you want to jump, where that button at? Whoa! Oh, getting it.
Watch it
Get down.
Wait, buddy, karate.
As a closing note, you can kind of tell that some of these animations are definitely motion capture, man, because when you watch him jump, look at that. Well, first of all, it looks goofy. Like that's probably how I look when I jump. I mean, but the swinging of his arms doing like this whenever they come down, that's some pretty. That's kind of a hard thing to kind of do by hand. Okay, take a knee. Take a knee. Mm. That was a good stream. Shoot. I know. Get it, get it. Say again? No, 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 no. So yeah, the inverse kinematics portion of that. So those are all. That's just keyframe. Like if you wanted the inverse kinematics part of it, um, I lied about closing it out quick. What the internet? I jacked this script so many times. It's directly from the Unity documentation. Um, the script reference page. Open that up. So I'm just gonna paste all of this, and then what I'll do is, I mean, I can explain some of this on Animator IK. This gets called whenever it does the IK pass over the animator. This is pretty expensive. It actually yells at you if you do, like, if IK position is, like, if you're trying to do conditional checks in some regards. I can't remember the exact thing, but it didn't like it very much. So we'll add the IK, well, we'll compile. What? Man, look at all that yellow. Ain't nobody get that out of here. Where were they? Say again? What? Oh, yeah. Man, what is the problem? Oh, yeah. I've I've used Unity before. I swear to God. When I taught the class at UL, dude, I think 50% of the problems was the script naming. Um, yeah, there we go. And people just don't rename it. They don't name their scripts properly, and then they try to add them in the inspector. So we add this script, and then what we'll do is we're gonna give oh boy a thing to grab onto, and then we're gonna stop the stream. So we'll give you a ball. We'll put it above your head. Clean that up, and then put this as the ball. Wait, come here. Come here. And this is the thing that we were gonna go over for the mining game, Andrew. So initially, whenever I do this, you can set IK active. Nothing's gonna happen, simply because we're not actually doing that IK pass on the animator. So you can do this by just setting the IK pass on it and then running it this way for that setup. And then, ooh, that ain't no good. All right, that's totally inappropriate, but like,
Where you at? Where you at though?
where you at? Where you at? Get him, get him. He can't turn or anything, so.
What's that hand doing though? Look at him, boy.
Hey, Kobe. From half court though. All right. Yeah, that's definitely. Oh, because that's definitely not it. Yeah, I would need to set something for his freaking. I read that wrong. I swear. Yeah, I said this. Look, I said the right hand object and the look object are the same thing. Um. Frosty the Snowman. So yeah, so he's like nothing. Well, nothing's happening right now, but once we enable the IK, he's gonna do he's gonna do stuff. Like he's always gonna look at this thing, and if you move this object around, like he's gonna move his head down, look up. I wrote a script this weekend that was like you walk and then you find points of interest, and then you kind of look away from them when they're no longer of interest. And like the math started simple, but then it got really complicated. So basically, like when are you looking at something and when are you not? Like you should, when your forward vector and the dot product become negative, like the vector to it and then your forward become negative or they break the 90 degrees, you don't want to look at it anymore. Well, then they snap, like your head will snap, and that's not realistic. So I try to do some kind of smoothing where she'd be like, oh. And my wife walked in on me whenever I was doing it, and she was like, that is just the creepiest. It was just this wolf girl with her mouth open going, and then looking away real fast. Uh, Another thing that I recommend that you can try in one of your games whenever y'all are done with the projects is maybe setting up some kind of like uh, what is it? The Harlem Gamble game where the dude like moves the cups around, like grab a cup, move a cup,
Oh yeah.
parenting. You know, you can actually get a lot of practice with like Oculus or VR development type techniques by just trying to do some stuff like that. I'm pretty sure you have all kind of like I got an object. Is it my object? Am I holding an object? Am I grabbing an object? Get that out of there. Like, throw the object away. Give me another one. But you can only have one in your hand at a time, right? So, yeah, same concept there. Any questions?
We talked about how something about being a distance away from the camera using the cross product on the vector in between.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What is that reference to?
Okay, so basically, whenever you're running around in a video game like Assassin's Creed, has everyone played it? I mean, I don't really think World of Warcraft will work that way, but well, yeah, it doesn't do some kind of auto camera panning. But whenever you have a character moving in space and you press up, okay, like you're expecting it to go forward from the camera, okay, so that's the forward vector from the camera. But your transforms forward could be in a number of different places where, like, if you press right, you know, yeah, you need to be moving in relation to you need to face that direction to the right, and then you need to move the camera's right. Okay. So in order to derive the forward vector, you use the cross product of the camera, um, the the right camera, you're up, and then you take the cross product of that, and that'll give you the vector that's perpendicular to both. So like you're facing like this, and your camera's viewport is looking directly this way. You turn this way, okay? Well, you can no longer press up. Well, you want to press up, but how can I press up and move him forward? So you have to calculate your up vector, the camera's right vector, and that'll give you taking the cross product of that'll give you the vector that's going like this. So whenever you're holding up, you can move the camera around basically. I'll have the better explanation. I have the math written down. That was recorded, and I fumbled the hell out of that. So, but I'll get it to you. We're doing it in our game right now, and it's a standard of like getting the cross product of the right and the up of the player. in order to determine the correct forward vector. Because you have to apply your vertical movement needs to be driving the velocity of your forward direction. Okay.
That's only if the camera's moving, right?
Yeah, that's whenever the camera's like doing some crazy freaking rotating around and manipulating its way in a lot of places. It would help to actually like see how far you could go. Like once you get this dude moving around, try to implement a system where you're basically you hold down and then now the player's running right at the camera. Well, that's just creepy because he's running right at the camera. So then you try to implement some feature where the camera does a wraparound, but you're still holding down. Okay? So you're holding down but moving forward, and then the camera moves to behind you. So you're holding down like this, the camera's finally, it loop back around you and you're holding down. That doesn't make any sense from a user standpoint, right? Does that make sense, Ben?
I understand what you're talking about.
You understand? I'm not sure if I'm explaining it well enough, but
Yeah,
I know y'all had the problem. Y'all ran into the issue whenever y'all did the WebGL game, I believe.
Well, the thing was, when you use mouse and keyboard input, you expect the straight all the time.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And so you only move forwards,
Yeah.
and you can't move backwards without
Without,
backpedaling.
yeah.
And then when you get a controller, that's when you move in the direction of the stick, and it's not awkward anymore because you're controlling where you go.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll come up with some examples and we'll set that. I want to get into the math behind it. I really want y'all to have, whenever we do the animations and get you guys running around in a scene to maybe like do more than Gangnam, even though that's like fun. I'd like for you to actually move around. Okay. And I mean, worst comes to worst, we'll just do it in 2D. You're like right is right and left is left. So okay, y'all suck. All right, stop that stream.